You've packed every charger, hoodie, and snack into that loyal carry-on. You stroll past the bag drop line grinning, saved $100. But at the gate, a yellow tag hits, and your suitcase rolls off like it's headed to luggage prison. Welcome to flying in 2025. Carry-ons seem safe until they're not. Airlines eye your bag's size, TSA its contents, and most travelers don't see the clash coming. One slip and you're holding up the line as your bag gets marched away. So what's the trap costing travelers millions in fees? We're cracking it open next. Here's where it gets messy. In the US, there's no universal law for carry-ons. Each airline makes up its own rules. On American, Delta, or United, you're fine with a 22 by 14 by 9-inch roller, wheels and handle included. But Spirit or Frontier? Suddenly you're limited to a so-called personal item the size of a shoebox. Show up with a backpack that's even a little puffy, and the gate agent's already flashing you a $75 bill. And plenty of flyers swear those sizer bins at the gate are smaller than the ones online. Coincidence? Sure. Let's call it that. And if you're flying international, Qatar, WestJet, and plenty more, the bar's even stricter. That fancy 23-inch suitcase you just bought? Insta-reject. Reddit's full of horror stories of premium bags getting turned away without mercy. Now, wait. Big US carriers don't care, as long as you can muscle it into the overhead yourself. But hop on Lufthansa and the cap is 8 kilos. Qatar cuts it to 7. Ryanair gives you 10. Spirit doesn't weigh at all, but they'll measure your bag within an inch of its life. Lose the gamble? That gate check drains 65 to 99, minimum. And on Spirit or Ryanair? Forget mercy. Gate agents there work like VAR referees. Bag fits or it doesn't. No replays. So what's the survival move? Measure it. Not a guess. Not eyeballing. Use a digital tape, pack it full like you're actually flying, and check on a flat surface. Unless your bag folds up like origami, better to know the truth before you leave home. If it doesn't fit in your living room, it won't fit at the gate. Second hack, wear the heavy stuff. That bulky jacket? Put it on. Boots? Lace them up. You can peel layers off once you're seated, but you can't argue with a scale. Bottom line, there's no single standard. Some airlines are relaxed, some count every gram. That's why you see those gateline showdowns, passengers bickering like they're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Only the million-dollar question is, will my bag make it on board? But hold up, the real enemy isn't that roller bag. Not anymore. In 2025, the real squeeze is hitting the bag nobody used to care about, your so-called personal item. That little tote or backpack you slide under the seat? Suddenly, it's the star of the show. Low-cost carriers especially love this trick. The official limit is about 18 by 14 by 8 inches. Sounds harmless, until you realize that's smaller than most laptop bags and forget about your cute oversized tote from work. And unlike before, they're actually measuring. Here's the sting. You show up at the gate, relaxed because it fit last time. The agent glances at your stuffed-up backpack, nods and says, "Sorry, that has to be checked." That free bag instantly costs you $65 to $80. And if your carry-on's already full, those extras you crammed in get shipped straight to the cargo hold. So how do you fight back? Keep it flat, keep it light. Compression bags help, but the real hack is mindset. Pack only what truly matters. Laptop, charger, passport, snacks. That's it. At the gate, it's always two types of flyers. One breezing through with a tidy underseat bag, the other pulling out a credit card with a frown. In 2025, not every airline is strict yet, but the trend is clear. Which side of that line are you on? You think you're safe once your bag clears the airline? Not so fast. TSA once trashed a $200 jar of luxury face cream because it was too soft. That's the level of curveball you're up against. Sure, you might win the first round with the airline. Your bag fits the sizer, no one weighed it, no surprise fee. But the moment you step into security, the rules change. TSA doesn't care if your bag is designer, color-coordinated, or TikTok famous. They only care about what's inside. Take my buddy. He nearly lost his hummus on the way to a picnic. TSA looked at it and said, "Sorry, that's a gel. Hummus, not dish soap." Or the older guy I saw once, everything packed neat, except for a single jar of homemade salsa his wife had slipped in. The officer cracked it open, sniffed, joked, "Smells good," and then dumped it straight into the trash. He stood there frozen, like someone had just pocketed his wallet. That's the sting of the 311 rule. You think you've got it down, but in reality, anything soft, spreadable, gooey, or squishy is fair game. And all it takes is one slip-up to lose something you care about, or hold up the whole line while people behind you glare. Want to avoid that pain? Do a quick scan at home before you zip the bag. If it squeezes, smears, or pours, it belongs in a travel-size container, or it doesn't fly. So don't assume making the airline happy is the finish line. To survive TSA, you've got to pack like a magician, knowing what to reveal, what to conceal, and what to leave out entirely. Stick around, because in a minute, I'll show you the everyday items most people think are safe, but TSA loves to pull out and question. Ever seen this happen? A guy strolls through security looking smug. I don't have anything dangerous. 10 seconds later, his bag gets pulled, and the TSA officer holds up a jar of peanut butter. Not a weapon, not explosives, just peanut butter. But because it's considered a liquid, it falls under the 3.4-ounce rule. And it's not just PB. Hummus, salsa, yogurt, hand cream, anything soft enough to scoop gets flagged. One traveler even posted that her $50 lotion got trashed because, in TSA's words, if you can spread it, it counts. Then come the curveballs. A glittery snow globe from Disney? Nope. A can of fish? The liquid inside makes it a problem. Full-size deodorant spray? Tossed. And the all-time absurdity, a toy lighter shaped like a gun. Every year, TSA seizes a few, and every year the internet collectively facepalms. None of these will get you arrested, but they will waste your time, drain your wallet, and guarantee you're the passenger everyone else in line remembers. And that's just the warm-up. The next list? Way more serious, where the price isn't just losing your lotion, but possibly your flight. Think water bottles are the biggest problem? Wrong. TSA catches guns, stray bullets, even a magic 8-ball. No joke, it all happens right there at the checkpoint. Some of these just delay you. Others? They'll get you pulled into a back room having a very different kind of airport day. Guns top the list. In 2023 alone, TSA seized over 6,700 firearms from carry-ons. Imagine standing in line when the guy ahead unzips his backpack and right there between his sandwich and iPad is a Glock. Not a movie scene, just a normal Tuesday in US airports. And it doesn't stop with real guns. Toy pistols that look too real, airsoft, BB guns, even cosplay props. Security doesn't have time to play spot the difference. From their perspective, it's all the same threat. Knives are just as risky. Switchblades, hunting knives, even a Swiss Army knife can get your bag pulled. Add in stun guns, batons, nunchucks, same outcome. And don't underestimate a single loose bullet. Travelers, including hunters, cops, even military, have been held up because one round was left rattling around in a backpack. What they thought was nothing became a half-hour delay, and often a missed flight. So the rule is simple. Anything that can cut, shoot, or shock, and anything that pretends to, will put you on TSA's radar instantly. Not scary enough to make the evening news, but just enough to ruin your trip. Think weapons cause the most TSA drama? Nope, it's your lotion. Way more people get stopped over shampoo, toothpaste, or hairspray than for guns. The reason? TSA's infamous 311 rule. Every liquid, gel, cream, or spray has to be under 3.4 ounces, 100 milliliters, all packed into one quart-size clear bag. Simple on paper, yet travelers keep pushing their luck. That family-size 200-milliliter toothpaste? Oversized, tossed. Splurged on a $100 skincare kit? TSA doesn't care. Those 120-milliliter and 150-milliliter bottles are headed straight for the bin. Sprays are no safer. Full-size deodorant, hairspray, even camping fuel and bear spray. They're all banned. Yes, someone once tried to bring bear spray to Alaska. TSA's answer? Absolutely not. So, here's the truth. Either go travel size or be ready to watch your stuff vanish. TSA won't cry over your $100 lotion, and neither will the guy stuck waiting behind you. Think you know what TSA allows? Wait till you see someone stroll through with a bowling ball. Yes, a full-size bowling ball rolled right through security. The agent barely blinked, waved it on. Meanwhile, the poor passenger next to him was stuck 20 minutes because their face wash bottle was too big. Logic? TSA seems to keep that rulebook to themselves. I once saw a kid hugging a clear plastic box. Everyone thought it was a toy. The X-ray revealed a live goldfish swimming inside, and it passed without a hitch. The whole line gasped like they'd just seen a magic trick. Turns out TSA doesn't care if you're flying with a pet goldfish as long as the container's sealed and spill-proof. Then there was the guy with a Star Wars lightsaber. He looked nervous, probably expecting it to get flagged as some kind of space weapon. Instead, the agent grinned and said, "May the Force be with you." Saber through, no problem, while the woman behind him had to toss her entire skincare set over one oversized lotion bottle. And the cowboy fans? Spurs get a green light. The lasso? Let's just say you're better off leaving the rodeo act at home. But a glittery snow globe in your carry-on? Hard stop. Too much mystery liquid inside. That's TSA in a nutshell. Things you'd bet are harmless get trashed, and things you'd swear are impossible sail right through. One minute it feels like FBI level strict, the next it's a comedy skit in the middle of the airport. Which is why frequent flyers joke, "Don't guess what's allowed. Ask TSA," because the answer is always stranger than you imagined. Flying in 2025 feels like a game show, but the only question is, can your stuff survive security? Get it wrong, and it's not the jackpot you lose, it's your travel plans. Take the 311 liquid rule. Under 3.4 ounces in one quart-size clear bag. Easy, right? One traveler thought new scanners meant bigger bottles were fine. She tried a full 300 milliliter lotion. At LAX, she breezed through, smiling like she'd beaten the system. But at her Frankfurt connection, the agent held it up, shook his head, and dropped it in the bin. All she could mutter was, $40? Gone, while the line behind her chuckled. Power banks? That's a math problem. Under 100 watt-hours, fine. 100 to 160 watt-hours, you need airline approval. Anything higher? Grounded. Trouble is, many batteries don't list the rating. One guy flashed a shiny charger with the label worn off. The officer just smiled, "No label, no fly." His protest, "But it charges my iPhone in 10 minutes, earned him only a smirk. Perfect, now it charges our trash bin. Think a dead battery is no big deal? TSA thinks otherwise. Laptops, tablets, cameras, they may ask you to power them on. If it boots, you're good. If it's dead, suddenly your MacBook looks suspicious. I watched a student who'd binged Netflix the whole flight arrive at security with a dead laptop. The officer stared at him like he'd smuggled uranium. Result, a 20-minute holdup while his boarding pass turned into a crumpled mess in his hand. And then there's smart luggage. GPS, USB ports, app-controlled locks. Sounds futuristic until you realize the battery can't be removed. At that point, it's either ditch the suitcase or ditch the flight. One Denver passenger walked away without his bag and later posted, "Smart luggage, dumbest decision ever." So TSA hasn't invented any new weird rules in 2025. They've just stopped letting things slide. Prep properly and you'll breeze through like VIP. Don't, and you're basically auditioning for airport fails of the day. I once heard an American frequent flyer say, "Carry-on's easy. If you can lift it overhead, you're good." Sure, in the US, try that same bag in Tokyo or Paris, and at the gate, they'll weigh it. 7 kilos, no exceptions. I watched a guy layer 3 sweaters, sling his laptop like a firefighter's pack, all to dodge a €90 overweight fee. Security rules shift too. In New York, it's just the 311 liquids check. But at Heathrow, I saw an entire line stalled because people hadn't separated power banks and iPads. One woman had her duty-free shampoo, bought in the US, dumped right into the bin. London didn't recognize that sealed bag as valid. She froze for a second, then muttered, "Well, there goes my souvenir," while the line behind her just shook their heads. Food is where the comedy really turns painful. Australia is legendary. One student forgot an orange in his backpack. $250 fine on the spot. Another family carried beef jerky, a Texas favorite, but in Sydney, it was treated like a biological threat. Customs guarded that border as if they were keeping out zombies. The lesson? Don't assume clearing TSA means you're safe. International rules are like leveling up in a video game. Tougher bosses, harsher penalties. If you really need meds or special items, bring documentation, or better yet, map out a pharmacy at your destination. Trust me, hunting down Panadol in Tokyo is far less painful than signing a fine for a bag of dried fruit. You think you're the only genius who slipped a pocket knife into your carry-on? TSA's scanners spot it faster than fortune tellers reading palms. And from there, you've got 3 possible endings to your movie. The easy ending. They chuckle, drop your item into the big blue bin, already overflowing with family-sized shampoos and discarded Christmas lights, and wave you on. The stressful ending. You're marched back to check in to repack, sprinting like it's a marathon while your boarding gate countdowns to final call. The nightmare ending. Airport police show up with black gloves, and suddenly you're the unwilling star of Caught at the Airport, live edition. Here's what most travelers don't realize. TSA doesn't run a lost and found for banned items. That pocket knife from Grandpa? Gone for good. Everything gets destroyed or dumped into government storage. Rumor has it there's a warehouse stacked with Zippos, selfie sticks, even mini saw collections. Basically a surreal flea market no one gets to shop. One woman told me she lost an entire duty-free perfume set she'd bought in Paris as a Valentine's gift. Her joke? Well, I guess it's Valentine's for somebody else now. Word is, TSA auctions some items online, so her perfume might be sitting on the dresser of an eBay bargain hunter right now. Moral of the story? TSA's not out to ruin your day. They're just enforcing the rules. Ignore them, and the cost isn't just your stuff. It's the public spectacle, plus a potential fine that can run into the hundreds. So now you've got the survival kit for navigating TSA and airline rules in 2025. It's not about whether your bag is big or small. It's about knowing the rules and outsmarting the gate agents. Because one slip, a lotion that's too big, a power bank with no label, and your entire trip can turn into an airport sitcom with you as the star. If this video saved you from losing a $100 skincare set, or at least from wearing 3 sweaters just to beat the scale, hit that like button, share it with your travel buddy, and subscribe so you've always got the latest playbook for your next flight. And now I want to hear from you. What's the worst thing you've ever lost to TSA? Was it a pricey lotion, your mom's fruit knife, or maybe an entire duty-free perfume set? Drop your story in the comments. I'll pick a few of the funniest and most painful ones to read out in the next video.